about 50 foot tall. Kind of from that ridge over is state land, TVA land, state land, and then from that ridge inland is private property. This is a Cajun sucker punch bowfish bow. And then it came with 2 of those arrows. I have some more, 4 more arrows and 4 more arrowheads. Like I was doing some practice shots in some sand. Started to get a little dinged. Like this, you kind of unscrew a little bit, the arrowhead, and then just kind of flip over so you can get it out. But when it's inside the fish, in order to flip over, it's got to go like that. So it really doesn't want to leave the fish. But if you yank on it hard enough, you can get it out. I did a couple practice shots with it. Not that good. But feeling like it's worthwhile to try it out on these carp. So I'm gonna bring this back to the homestead. I got some bigger, some 5-prong. Actually, from Walmart, you know, the sporting goods store sells these as their biggest. These little 3-prongs and then these 4-prongs. But at Walmart, I actually got a 5-prong one that's about this wide, like 5 or 6 inches wide, which would actually be like a nice little trident for carp. Definitely not using this solid metal anymore because it's really messed up my shoulder. Throwing that thing around. I'm just too old to be doing stuff like that. You know, it's even so I've been digging a trench. You can never have too many trenches these days. So I've been digging a trench, which is also bad on my shoulder. You know, kind of slowing down the recovery. So even like doing this sucker punch bowfish bow is still rough on my untying this thing right here. I can get it. Even just using a bowfish bow is a little rough on my shoulder. So what I got, paddle, hatchet to bonk it over the head with. Some stand to hook up this camera. And there's the bowfish, bow, my keys, and my fishing license. That's a combo hunting and fishing license. So, bow fishing's allowed over here. Just like fishing with a rod and reel, the same limits pertain to bow fishing in this area, you know. Kentucky, Tennessee waters of Kentucky Lake. So it seems crazy to me, bow fishing, so I'm not used to it. Dragonflies eat the mayflies, but there's just way too many of them. Gets nasty. I've rinsed it out, you know, scrubbed it down once already, but really no point. Using this thing every day. It's been a week or so since I've been out on the water, maybe longer. A slug. But when I'm out on the water every day, I'll collect leeches in here. It's kind of crazy. I had you know, leeches on me, you know, like stuck to my shorts. Found some dried dead ones. You know, I put my shorts in the there's a little springtail in the back of the car to dry out. I find dead dried leeches in the back of the car. I'm just making sure there's no big spiders or ants under that, you know. You never know, they like to hide. So I just give it a quick dump and go. When it gets covered, so I washed it after having a bunch of rotten minnows in here. I didn't want that rotten minnow juice in there. So I'm gonna grab the paddle, hatchet, bow, and that. Get out on the water. Maybe hard to tell because the sun's behind the clouds. This is like 5 or 6 inches of water. I'm actually scraping the bottom. That over there is what was gigging for the carp with the frog spear, right in that mudflat area. Now it's all dry, you know, it's dry land now. This area was just too deep at the time to even bother. But now it's, I can barely get around on the kayak. It'll stay wet, a little channel right in there. And that's where I plan on doing most of the bowfish fishing. This will drop probably another foot, I'm thinking, until it gets to its lowest point where they kind of bottom out, you know, like right there, some rocks. Like, you know, it's just barely, just, you know, a few inches of water over there. Got something going on over there. Some kind of a boat. It's a pretty big boat. I like these flats though. Crazy how quick it changes. You know, that was fishing grounds, now it's dry land. So I'm gonna get my boat and get set up and get out into the shallows. I may have to push this canoe. I have to see how shallow it gets. I may have to get out and just drag it across this shallow. So I'm gonna get going. Okay. So this is a mid-range bow. So this is this video is bow fishing for carp. This is like a mid-range price-wise. Let me see. I think it was like $3.80 or so. Comes with, this is a ready to fish package, so it came with the reel and arrow guide and 2 arrows. Make is Cajun, model is Sucker Punch. So I switched out it comes constant draw, but it comes with things to where you can make it so, you know, once it's at full pull, the tension is not much at all, you know. Full draw, it's real easy to hold it. So I did that, you know, came with the cards to swap it out from constant to that varying draw pull. Give it a few shots, you know. So I sighted it in the way you're supposed to. You know, adjusting the left and right, up and down. But I was still consistently shooting up and to the left. Very consistent. I got something here. I don't know if this is a fish or not. No. What is this? Like a hill. Something. Oh, an old tree stump. I forgot there's tree stumps out here. So I'm not seeing any carp right now. This is Wednesday. I should have brought my hat. I didn't bring my hat because it's like partially cloudy. And it was mostly cloudy. I mean, the sun was mostly behind the clouds. But it looks like it's going to be a bit of a warm one. Hopefully it doesn't take long to find a carp. And with luck. So I started shooting this thing down and to the right. Oh, whoops. Got it out on an old log. And I was shooting pretty good when I was doing it down and to the right. And this is standing, shooting into my sand pile, like a dead leaf in my sand pile, from maybe about 10 feet away. Shooting down and to the right, I could hit the leaf. And that's standing up. I'll be sitting down. This is going to be a lot shallower of an angle, so yeah, I'm going to have to probably adjust it, you know. I won't be surprised if I miss the first 2 or 3 carp, but hopefully then I'll figure out, you know, how this arrow interacts with the water. You know, if I have to aim way down, you know, to the right, or... Oh wow, oh wow, there's another tree stump. They just come out of nowhere. Another tree stump right there. Wow, I do not remember all of these tree stumps. That's one of those catfish noodling boxes right there. Okay. I think I'm not seeing any carp. These are the shallows right here. But this does get a little bit of a current because it's kind of going in between these islands. It could be that the carp are avoiding the current and hanging out in Poop Lagoon now. They always hang out in Poop Lagoon because it's so calm, placid. Hard to say if that's on the camera or not, with that mud bank over there. That I think the camera's looking at. That's where I was shooting for the carp with the spear, gigging for the carp. So, this is Wednesday. No, this is Tuesday. I was gonna head back, you know, wrap up my week and a half out here. Head back Sunday. That'd be kind of the normal routine. Had like an employment meeting Monday. picked up this bow and so I got some traps as well for raccoons. So I'm targeting, for calories, I'm targeting catfish and carp, and for red meat I'm targeting raccoons, and maybe other things for red meat, you know, squirrels or something. If I get just so much fat off of a raccoon that I don't need any more fat, you know, if I got plenty of fat, I might go for, and I'm just still want more red meat, I might go for squirrels or something else, you know, deer, you know, the obvious one. But I still need to get a gun for deer. I need like a 243 to, so right where this canoe is right now, this kayak right now, the deer go out here to graze. You know, I'm in about 12 inches of water. This will all be mud flats, and the deer will be out here grazing. And right where that camera's looking, the bank over there, kind of beyond my boot, it's about 350 yards, 250 yards from that bank to right where this kayak is, and I can shoot, you know. The deer might be at that side. This is Rex Island. Might be at that side of Rex Island, you know, like 100 yards. Going all the way to this little kind of part of Rex Island right here. Kind of this side. It's 350 yards. So I could do like 100 yards with a 22 long rifle. Get a deer. Not necessarily legally. I think you can legally shoot a deer if the 22 is center fire. This would be a rimfire 22 long rifle. I think would be the best way to actually get a deer. A headshot on a deer from 100 yards with a 22. I don't know, but to get over here to shoot them at this part of the island, this 350 yards, I would need a 243. And I don't have either a 22 or a 243. Like a 22 is so weak that it's only special instances where you can legally hunt deer with it. But with a 243 you can legally hunt deer, because you're liable just to wound the deer, you know, and put it through an agonizing situation with a 22. So I still need to get guns to hunt deer. 22, you're looking, my roomie said, landlord roomie, they're probably about 350, get you a good 22 setup, and 1,000 will get you a good 243 setup, scope and ammo and gun. I need a good scope. So I may get a 22 here shortly. Yeah, this is Tuesday. I got an interview Thursday. Parks maintenance. Decent pay, $18.50 to $20.50 or $21, I think. But it's parks maintenance. So I'm thinking that would be just the coolest atmosphere to be working in, maintaining the parks. You know, like the little shelters, gazebos, and bathrooms, whatever else, tennis courts maybe. I don't even know what they would do, you know, but being in the parks, bridges, you know, little park bridges. Probably signs, probably a lot of signs. Hanging signs. That would be a, there's a little bit of a wave from probably a carp. You never know. I'm not seeing any carp, so the first sign of a carp right there. Wow, I go out with a bow and I can't find any carp. So I got an interview Thursday, so I'm heading back tomorrow. I wanted to do my alternative method for catfishing. Get that going this week, but it looks like it's going to be put on hold. So ideally it would be catfish because you don't have any bones. But then more ideally is actually just having some food when you're starving. And carp is food, you know, even if it does got bones. Good thing about bones is it's calcium. Chewing the little pin bones. Probably be all the calcium I need. Modern calcium. From like dairy, milk, and cheese. And a cow takes way too much hay to keep. You know, a cow produces too much milk for one person. You know, you're looking at it maybe, depending on the breed, maybe like a gallon a day of milk. And I don't need a gallon a day of milk. You know, I'd be spending, you know, I need, I don't know, couple acres for it to graze during the summer, plus a couple more acres just to be harvesting hay to feed the cow in the winter. And then the cow would have to give birth in order to go into milking, so I'd need like a bull to impregnate it to get it producing milk, you know. So it'd be even, you know, twice that acreage of land, you know, and processing hay, you know, cutting it down and storing it, baling it, you know. Keep in mind that when you don't have weather, you know, you could cut your hay thinking that it's going to be dry out, and your hay will dry, and then it just downpours, gets it all wet and moldy, and now your cattle starve in the winter. Granted, there's river cane and other things that could do natural forage, but a cow is just so hungry, it's not worth it. So kind of, because I don't need that much milk. And I'd be spending all my time making hay, you know, not doing other things like fishing, you know. You know, like things like a cow is made for society. We have multiple people, and you can give each person a little bit of milk, and then they give, you know, one of them is out fishing, they give you some fish for that milk. Another person's out gathering mushrooms, they give you some mushrooms. Another person's out hunting, they give you a squirrel. So, I mean, it adds up, you know, in a societal way, but for one person it's not worth it. And it's not even really worth it for, what do you call it? Goats. You know, so a step down is goats. You get less milk, but it almost looks like a dark spot moving, but it's so small, it's probably just a turtle. It looks like about a turtle. So this right here that I'm in right now is all mud flat as well. This is about a foot of water. I think it's 10 inches of water. Yeah, it looks like I'm about to start scraping bottom. Wow. I'm gonna go out to the deeper. I think it's just too shallow for the carp. I'm moving to the deeper water. This 12-inch stuff is too shallow for them. They like the 18 to 2 foot water they seem to prefer. But yeah, so I mean, a goat would be good calcium. Get a jar of it every day, you know. I could use a jar of milk every day, you know, like a, whatever my big jars are that I put my beans in, you know. Quart, maybe. I don't know. I could drink that a day, and not, it'd be a good amount for me in a day. But I'd have to give that goat, I would need, I think, still an acre to graze it on in the summer, and an acre to grow hay on it, grow hay for it for in the winter. And again, you need a male goat to impregnate it, to get it to give birth, So it's like, if you milk it every day, you could get that quart or whatever of milk every day, or maybe 9 months out of the year, and then giving it a rest. It'll, once it starts getting into the breeding thing, its milk production will dwindle off, and you want to give it a break so it can recover and prepare for the new baby. And then that new baby drinking the milk for maybe a month or so before you start taking some of the mom's milk. So you're looking, feeding it 12 months of the year, and for only getting milk 8 months of the year, and then you're actually feeding a male goat as well that whole time, just for some milk. So it's really not even worth it. It's debatably worth it. If I were younger, I'd be like, yeah, let's do it. But I need to start toning it down, Something I can do for years to come. Something that's sustainable. And sustainable is not spending all that time in the hay fields. So what is sustainable, though, is eating fish bones. Getting my calcium from fish bones. Eating bait fish like sardines. I've never actually eaten a sardine. It's just too nasty. I've actually had cans of sardines that people have left behind doing apartment maintenance. Or that are thrown out, Still not expired, still good. So I've had cans, and I think maybe I opened one up, to eat it, and it's like, nah, I'm not gonna. It's just too off-putting. That's now. When I can just go make a sandwich or something. When it's feeding yourself, you quickly get over those taboos. So, eating a bait fish like a sardine, well, it's not something I want to do. It's something I will do when I need to. Probably even better yet would just be eating a fish fillet of carp and having some bones in it and just chewing up those bones. If you steam them, I guess they get softer. Wow. So I'm back into the shallows again. There's a channel around here that should be about like 6 feet deep. The river channel, not even river channel, but just the channel that the current flows through is about 6 feet deep right now. I would think in this area, but then right now I'm on the mud flat around it. I passed right over it. It was kind of like why I worry about calcium so much. What's this thing about calcium? And the whole thing is that like osteoporosis is a thing because a lot of people get it. So your chances of getting, osteoporosis or being calcium deficient, while not a problem, right now, but in 20 years, when I'm 60, 70, 80, there's a good chance that I'll need that calcium. So I do want a source of calcium, and if there were no bones in fish and no other ways of getting calcium, I might do goats, just so I have a source of calcium. But I'll probably do seashells, all these clam shells. You can process them in a manner. I think if you bake them at a particular degree, you know, like, I don't know, a degree range, you know, maybe 200 to 250 degrees or something. If you bake them like that, they turn chalky, and that's basically what Tums is, which is kind of what I get my calcium from now. It's just Tums, ground up seashells that they've baked. I'd rather, turtle. I'd rather do fish bones though. So, the negative part about carp having bones isn't really a negative. You know, it's a bit of a, I'm guessing it'll be a bit of a turn off texturally, but probably one that you get used to relatively quick. Yeah, so this is crazy. I'm not seeing any carp now. This is like an insane amount of skunking. Like, this whole time, trying out these different methods to catch fish, and I just keep getting skunked. Kind of like, how is this even possible? You know, it's kind of like, you know, divine will or something, divine intervention, maybe, you know, like, I'm just not supposed to catch a fish right now, so that I keep getting these other methods and have a well-rounded means. That might be it. You never know. But I am surprised how difficult this is. So I think I'm in the channel. I should be like, I'm coming out of it right now. That was a heron. If you heard that. My hat would have been good. Sun wears on ya. I didn't think I'd be out here this long. There's usually just carp everywhere. Now that I actually have a way of getting the carp, I can't seem to find them. So this is like probably about noon. You know, I got an early start so I could fillet up this carp and fry it. General plan to fillet it and bread it and fry it, and have fish sticks, not fish sticks, but you know, fish and chips, whatever you know you call those things. And maybe do some smaller little poppers to doing some wraps, you know. Be a fish fillet again, you know, breaded and fried, but in little cubes for poppers, or for wraps. Oh wow, just saw a little mud flash from a carp. So there was a carp right here. I'm just gonna follow this coast. Get a little bit closer to shore, because there was that carp was like right underneath the canoe. Some disturbance in the water right there. Looked like it could have been a carp. I dark spots, though it's too deep. The water has cleared up. It's probably about a foot visibility. Oh, there we got one. Swam away though. So get set up so with this thing, have a little stopper that is tied to. Carp territory. Wow. Dirt cloud right there. I didn't see him, but he saw me. There's definitely a school of them around here. But they're too deep for me to see. Get into the shallower stuff. Or maybe see a doesn't look like it's moving. Dark spot, but it's not moving. No, that's a stick. Yeah, that's a stick. A lot of sticks. And the visibility over here isn't that good. Looks like maybe 6 inches. That's why I'm not seeing them. Hopefully it clears up further downstream. General plan, I'm gonna go downstream on this bank and then loop up back upstream. Kayak just rocked as if a carp underneath me paddled. Yeah, so what do you call it? I'm a little bit hesitant to start working again because it's like I got a feeling as soon as I start working, the job will make vaccines requirement. I got a call, So I applied for this parks maintenance worker over a month ago, and I thought I didn't get it, It's like I thought it'd be people in-house would just be giving it to their buddies. That's generally how these things work. These good jobs, you just give to your buddy. It's like all of this federal, whatever, 3.5 trillion government package. They're just giving that money to their buddies, and then their buddies are buying their books. Their buddies are buying 1 million copies of their books to, give them a kickback. But because it's got a degree or two of separation, of these monies changing hands, they can deny it. They always got plausible deniability. It's just a bunch of greedy bastards. That's generally how these city jobs go. They just give it to their buddy. So if you know, like, the guy in the hiring department or the supervisor, you can get the job. But if you don't know him, good luck, you know. So I probably won't even get it, but they are calling me in for an interview after a month, over a month. So if they're calling me in, I'm probably like, you think you have a day of interviews. They said Thursday is the only day, you know. They're doing a panel. So you think one person an hour, you know, max 8 people. But then these are city employees, so they probably don't want to be doing interviews or actually working all day. You know, interviewing isn't really work. But probably figure 4 to 7 people are being called in for the interview. So, I mean, there is a chance I get it. My resume does make me stand out in a number of ways. I do have a unique resume. I asked the person I called, you know, if there's a, the city has a vaccine requirement, and they're like, oh no, you know, I've been getting that a lot, but we don't. Kind of, if you want to be vaccinated, you can. If you don't want to, you don't have to. So, I'll take it and take the risk, you know. Definitely seems like that, I mean, it is unconstitutional. Biden's authoritarian decrees, but it hasn't stopped him yet, and everyone seems to let him just get away with it. All of this election rigging, you know, you got it in California with the Newsom swap out. A bunch of Republicans try to vote, and their ballots have already been cast, mailed to some Democrat, and the Democrats filled it out for Democrat. It's disgusting. But they don't investigate it. They don't say where it's been mailed to, and follow that guy. Let's keep letting it happen. So there's a good chance that right about when I get the job, I'll have to get off of the job. But I'll take it. Just because I really do need a 243 22. And I got these Duke traps, a Duke 220. I got 12 Duke 220s and one Duke 330. You know, the 220s are for your raccoons. Another small game, raccoon sized. And then your 330 is for the beaver, coyote, and bigger game, nutria. And these things are risky. Oh wow, is that? No. These Duke traps are risky. I didn't think that they're so beefy, but they have just insane power behind them. Trying to set these things, they make a special setting tool. I gotta get it. I didn't get it because it's like these things aren't going to be that beefy, and then I actually get them, and these things are insane. You know, they'll snap your hand off. Like you see, like a beaver squished in the center where he got hit by a 330, a Duke 330, kind of bar 330, and you see it pinched like down to nothing. You're like, oh, the beavers must be pretty weak, but they're not. Those things are strong. You know, they go underwater and they chop down trees and haul them off and all that jazz. It's just that these traps are so strong. You know, they can literally like probably smush your stuck your foot inside there. You know, like it smush your foot down to nothing, or your shin down to nothing. That seems like how powerful these traps are. So and they're the best traps to use for a raccoon, these 220s. And there are other good ways of getting raccoons. These hand traps, you know, you put some bait inside there, you stick their hand in to get the bait, and then it snaps down on their hand. You know, the raccoons are still alive, they got a mangled hand probably. So that's it for the coast. I'm gonna go over to these islands. Head up these islands, maybe go around and in between the islands. This coast is just too steep of a drop off, I think. Find a proper depth. But around these islands is mud flats. Yeah, bass are a filletable fish, boneless fillets. Ooh, look at you. It's a dead catfish. Yeah, I was gonna get it on camera. Wow. But not really worth it. I'm trying to unhook this camera and then re-hook it back up. Just right there, catfish. Look like what I've been calling channel cats. No, there was like 18 to 24 inches, probably 2 to 3 pounds, probably 18 inches, 2 to 3 pounds, which, you know, that's the only catfish I've been seeing, one's about that size, that species. Granted, there's a lot more in this lake, but you have a lot of different zones in this lake. Hanging out in different zones, different fish for different zones. It's a little windy. Not windy, but choppy. I'm not wearing my life vest, and this is deep water. I was thinking of just being in the shallows right over there, so I didn't need a vest because it would just be 2 foot of water. But now we're actually getting into some serious waters. Granted, this spot right here is only probably about 6 feet deep right now. And it does get deep over by Pirate Cove Island. I haven't actually been around Pirate Cove Island, so I'm going to go around that. The water's too deep to wade out to there, even when it's in its shallowest. When it's in its shallowest, I can wade right here over to that island. I'm not turning the camera now. I can wade out to that when it's shallower. Probably about 6 feet right now, so probably too deep to wade out to there right now, but once it gets shallower. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot more preps that I need. And while I can kind of maintain on unemployment, covers room rental and food, I don't save any money from it, so I can't really, I can only invest so much in preps. But I would really like to do more preps before I'm done working. So I was right though, that I'd be forced out of society. I wouldn't be able to do a full term. Kind of why the homestead bunker is a bunker and not a house. It was originally going to be a house, and that was going to be a basement, but I would have just been able to have roughed in the house proper and not made it livable. I wouldn't have had enough money to make it livable, just roughing it in. And it's kind of like I would much rather have a bunker that I can live in than a nice house shell that I can't live in, and that'll burn down, So, I figured I wouldn't be able to, I wouldn't have enough time, before society collapses to do any major construction on the house, and it turns out that's the case, and I figured I wouldn't even be able to get in a full 3 years of work before, I figured I'd be forced out of society before I could do 3 years, and it looks like that's going to be the case. Probably about 18 months I'll get in, before I have to leave. But that's, 6 months or something, maybe 10 grand worth of savings, that could go towards 6 grand worth of savings that could go towards preps, more rifles, full complement, 22 to 43 ammunition. Powder Cove has this nice little sandbar. So there's like the bay, the cove, where you dock, and then here's the hideout, where you store your booty and plan your next raid. Don't got too many pirates these days though. Oh, there it is. I see a fin. This is a tail fin of a carp sticking out of the water. Oh no, he's going on the... There's one. I want to see this. There's no one closer. Yeah. I can't actually see the fish. But I'm going to go for it. Oh wow, that was a spectacular fail. The line was wrapped up on my reel. Well, that was a wild shot anyways. Oh no. Yeah. Get a a little too excited, your first time shooting at a fish, and you forget to check things to make sure that your string's not wrapped up on anything. It's also choppy water, so I mean, it's got to be making a lot of noise for them to where, yep, it's all free. It's got to be making a lot of noise. Oh wow, there's a lot of them over there still. Hopefully we didn't really hear that because of all the wave noise. And this is going to be a further shot than my spearing. I don't think I'm going to get close enough to get a good shot on them. So I'm going to try another long distance shot. So the problem with this wind is I have to paddle to keep my orientation down. If I stop paddling and just hold the bow and wait for a good shot, the kayak is just going to be spinning around everywhere and getting blown around because of this wind. So kind of well, they're around here. I'm not seeing the fins now. I'm going to wait for the fins to pop back up. There's some fins over there, but they were closer. I hate to go right over these ones that are close by. So I'm surprised at this water depth. This water depth is like 2 foot right in here. 18 inches to 2 foot. And the way I'm facing, the glare of the sun makes it so I can't see down. But when I look behind me, I got the sun at my back. I can see the bottom vaguely. So it is clearer. The water is clearer over here than over the shore. Oh, that one section of the shore. Oh, there goes a little mud cloud from a carp that just swam away. You gotta put the fins in the air so I can see them. Oh, there's some turtles, okay. Some turtle heads popped up. I'm gonna turn around, get the sun at my back. That's the island beyond Rex Island. And that Rex Island right there. Probably hard to tell it apart from the shore. But I kayaked up in between Rex Island and that shore. Followed the coast over to there. Pirate Cove Island right there. So not at this island, but at the island beyond Rex Island, I might set up a camp because the water is deep, next to the deep water river channel, main river channel. Goes, oh wow. It's gonna spin. This looks like a money shot right here. Maybe 10 feet away. I saw it look like fins for 2 of them. Wow, come on, don't go. Right over there. You can tell I lack the patience to be a hunter or a fisherman. It's kind of like I haven't seen any surface signs of them getting away, them moving. So they're probably still over here, but it's just I don't see them. And it's like if I go to look for them, I'm gonna scare them. Just spin around a little. They're starting to drift. Oh wow! There goes one mud cloud from where one was. Oh, there's two mud clouds. That may have been them. Yeah, there's really no foolproof way to fish. So I got 3 mud clouds right around. I just did a pop shot right there. Saw one, but he was getting away. I'd rather take and miss a shot than not even take a shot. Trying to spin this canoe around and go after him would have scared him. I'm gonna go after those 2 over there. There's 3 over there, but I'm gonna have to paddle to them. Let's see a little closer. And this guy's had his fin out of the water for a long time. I mean, he is really going for it. So I'm gonna go after him actually. Bit of a pop shot. I can't actually see the fish, I can just see its fin. That's rough. Yeah, I'm seeing these mud clouds. A little swirl right there. This carp getting startled, but I can't even see the carp. It's not until they get startled that I know that they've been there. Look at that. I'm right there too. Drift into a bunch of sticks. This Pirate Club Island, pretty high up, tall, about 4 foot above water level. So, a few weeks ago when I was doing my spear fishing, my gigging, the water level was like 2 foot higher. And like right at the campground where I either drive in or ride my bike in or hike down to, you know, it'd be like a 2 foot of water there. And the carp would go right in there. So you could just stand right there at the campground and I couldn't throw the spear far enough, you know, but I could probably shoot this arrow far enough. You know, you get a nice clean shot, I'm thinking. But now it's like, it's the hair too light. I'm not seeing any fins. Glare of the sun on the water is just too much to see through. A bunch of shad jumping around me. So I didn't have any good shots out of that little burst of shooting right there. They're all wild shots. Too far away and unable to see through the glare, just kind of guessing where the fish was. So it's kind of like This may just be a bad day for it with this glare and waves. This video's probably getting long. I'm gonna head in between these islands, Rex Island and the island beyond, and hopefully it'll be calmer. It's a nice shallow area, and hopefully it'll be calm enough where I can see better. Pretty strong downstream current. So, actually got the paddle to move. So I also got 3 fishing poles, cat fishing poles, rigged up. One with a 5/0, one with a 6/0, and one with a 7/0. So I can actually just cast out my three rods and wait for a bite, you know? Just spend an evening fishing or morning fishing if I need to. With actual rod and reel, 3 of them, you know, identical. And only difference being the size of the hook. Again, trying to figure out what size hook I should have. See if I can hook the ones on the 4 or hook the ones on the 5 easiest, or the ones on the 7 easiest, or maybe the ones on the 6 easiest. You know, which one I have better chances of setting the hook on. These are circle hooks. They're supposed to set themselves without you doing anything. Just kind of spin around in the fish's mouth and hook themselves. But if you're yanking on it, it should be a definite set, I think. That'll be for camp. I got most of the supplies to build a camp. So I can camp out on the water and not have to worry about the coyotes, red wolves. Trying to hike at night so I can just sleep out there. Spend an evening fishing and then sleep out on the water at the camp. Wake up, recast, spend the morning fishing, and then head back to the homestead, hopefully with a pile of fish. Maybe spend a couple of nights out there and just smoke and dry the fish. Come back with a lot of fish. You're in a heron out there. Probably calmer on this island. Side of this island. I feel I have just about everything I need to catch fish. It's just getting good at it. I totally lack the ability, so I really need to just keep at it and practice. Refine the methods. does turn into a lot of stuff though. Like full complement of hunting gear. You're carrying this bow, carrying some fishing poles, carrying a rifle to shoot like herons or something, carrying traps. So eventually, you know, I want to take these, if I do the Duke traps, take the carcass of this fish, you know, get a carp, fillet out the sides, and then you still got the rest of the fish just sitting there. I could either compost it or use it as bait for raccoons. And I'm thinking using it as bait for raccoons. So I got 3 buckets, 5-gallon buckets. You kind of put the bait at the back of the bucket, put the 220 at the front of the bucket, and the raccoon will go into the bucket. There's no holes in the back of the bucket. Just really gets around. The raccoon will go around through the front of the bucket trying to get to the bait. And then, you know, snap itself. I do want to get some more have a heart traps, those cage traps. I got 1 right now. But I'm thinking like 3, you know, 2 more maybe. The good thing about dogs is I can keep the raccoon alive and fatten it up. You know, just keep feeding it fish carcasses or something, get it fatter so I get more fat off of it. It's interesting. It almost looks like one of those really big Air Force transport planes. You see Hercules or whatever? What plane is that? Surprisingly quiet that plane is. Maybe it's a drone. I don't quite recognize it. That only has a big tail fin of one of those, like Hercules or whatever. It's awfully low though. I wonder if they're doing a direct resettlement over here. I think this might be the carp up here. it's just a rock on a one of those noodling boxes. And it's always something, you know, that keeps you from getting food. So far I've gotten a lot of, you know, plants and mushrooms, but no calories. You know, none of that stuff has the calories you need to actually keep energized. And enough nutrition to keep you energized. You need meat for that. These vegans or whatever don't do physical activity. I like to see them do construction, do veganism. They'll just be sitting around letting the other people do the work. Nice hibiscus. Beautiful. Gotta say, I'm a little freaked out actually catching something. So you can kind of see memory card ran out. I only got 2 bars left of this battery, but off the coast of the island behind Rex Island, managed to put an arrow, went right through, you know, the head. So this guy's kind of doing big circles. I took another shot. The arrow wasn't stuck in him. He's swimming freely. Took another shot, missed. And then I think I finally just got out of the boat and beat him over the head with the hatchet. That's from the arrow. I don't know if I did any hatchet damage. I did end up having to beat him a couple times with a hatchet to actually kill him. You know, like, these guys are tough, you know, like, I don't know, it's a 2-pound hatchet or something. Decent weight. So this is carp. I got a fillet knife. Put them in a bucket. So to bring them down here, got some ooey gooeys. I'm gonna kind of see how big of a fillet this is gonna be. You know, this is gonna be a pretty big fillet. I'm gonna fillet them here. I'm gonna use the carcass just to feed the compost toilet soldier fly larvae. If or doing raccoons, you know, doing the duke traps in the buckets, you know, I'd cut up the carcass, put it in the bucket, you know, for bait, or compost it. You know, I got a wood chipper. I haven't started wood chipping yet, you know, but I do got a wood chipper. So, you know, this is going to be a project, wood chipping all this undergrowth, but then using fish carcasses and the wood chips to heat it up and give it some nitrogen. But for now, I'm just going to give it a quick scaling. I'm over here. This is some wood pile. You know, over there's the thing. I'm just going to scale it over here so I don't get scales all over. Wow, look at this. I'm going to have to be fighting off the bees and the ants and the flies. Looks like they're all going to be wanting in on it. But I'm going to give it a scale. Yeah, I'm down to 1 bar. I'm going to give it a scale while this charges. I'm going to give it a scale and fillet. So basically I'm going to scale these edges because these are some really thick scales and they ruin your fillet knife. So I'm going to go ahead and scale kind of this general area. It's kind of where I'll be taking my fillet on both sides. Kind of do this, go in, and then kind of go up and cut it kind of like bacon. I've never done it, so this is going to be a new process for me. So it's probably good that I don't do it on camera. I'll be butchering it, you know. But this camera's about to die. I don't want this sitting out because I don't have a freezer, you know, or ice. So this is just gonna rot, you know. So I need to process this right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut it up. Get the 2 fillets, scale it, get the 2 fillets, and put it in a bag, you know. I got this. I've had this for months now. And there is some fish fry stuff, breading that you spread your fish in. I'm going to put the fillets in there, maybe give it a marinade, get the fire started, you know, get some oil heated up, and by then this should be charged. So that's blood right there. Butchered the fish before the blood coagulated, so it's clean flesh. This is something, a trail camera. Thanks, Josh. Cool thing about this one is it can do time lapse. I haven't tried it out yet. I tried recording my mouse traps to see if it was crafty mice or just bugs, and you know, went off once. I couldn't see what set it off, but all the bait was eaten. So it was bugs, and you just can't tell that there's bugs there on this, you know, with the night vision, you know. It's black and white and kind of far away, so you can't even see the bugs. So there's no point in, you know, doing the mouse traps. But I'm going to try doing the time lapse on this. Yeah, I was like, as a motion sensor on the mouse traps, this would be a time lapse on this right here. This is the toilet. Oh, look at this. So it's been a while. Let's see what we got down the rabbit hole. You can kind of see, you know, I cut straight down and then went through the pin bones, like going from the dorsal side, you know, like just to the top of the dorsal, and like a ½ inch from the top, and then I went down until I hit the rib cage. And I just kind of went along that rib cage until I got to the outer side, you know. And you kind of see it's dark right there because that's the stomach cavity. Still got all of its guts and all that. I just scaled it so I could get my knife in there, went through those pin bones, and then went across the rib cage and just kind of peeling it as I went till I got to the end. Then I took the skin off, you know. Definitely not the best fillet job, but this is my first time filleting anything, you know, doing any kind of butchering, so pretty, you know, not too bad for my first time. And I did the same thing on the back, you know, so I got 2 fillets off of it. But these right here, this is the compost toilet. These are my soldier fly larvae. And you'd think, oh man, this is gonna stink. Why is he putting it next to the shack? This is right behind the shack. They're just like a hog in heaven. You know, they don't even know what to do. They're just like, oh, yes, yes. Look at this. Oh, yes. That guy's just like jumping for joy, you know, like squiggling around, you know, like so happy. This is going to keep them busy, but it won't smell. It's going to smell, actually, probably tomorrow and maybe the day after. So I'm guessing it would be 2 days of smell before these things got it pretty much picked clean. So it's kind of like there's going to end up being just a skeleton here of a fish skeleton. And these soldier fly larvae will eat all the flesh. They probably won't eat the scales, so there'll be some scales as well as the bones, you know, but all the flesh will be eaten off probably, I'm guessing in 3 days. They'll have this taken care of. And there'll probably be a swarm of soldier flies after that, you know. This will send them all into their pupating cycle, you know. They'll all get all the nutritions that they need to fully develop into flies, you know. They'll eat so much, they'll gorge, you know, then they'll molt, you know, get into a big exoskeleton, do that 1 or 2 times, you know, and then turn into actual flies. So I got this set up. And I got some oil. Just started heating up that oil. I got these. This is flesh. The 2 fillets. This is straight off the cutting board, so there's some debris in there, you know. Some nastinesses. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a rinse. This is some filtered water. I'm gonna give it a rinse, and then so these are little fish stick size pieces plus some little cubes. So it's kind of like two different ways: fish sticks and little cubes for burritos. I'm gonna do half of it in this with some hickory smoke to see how that goes. I'm just gonna get set up. Okay. So it's got right along the side of the fish. It had a little, the ventral line or something. I don't know. Was this red flesh. So I got rid of all that red flesh. Just about, there's a little bit of pink still. But in general, you want like the white meat like this. And like catfish and things might have red flesh. Or, right along the skin, it was red again. I want to say some catfish have green. But that right there, that off-colored flesh, I'm pretty sure is where you have the fishy smell, the fishy taste. So if you get rid of that, you get rid of the fishy taste. So these are like some little fish stick-sized pieces. Yeah, so when I start trapping, if I use these for raccoons, I'm using my savory oil right now, canola oil for this. But when I start doing raccoons, so your oil's gonna go bad after 2 years. So I'm gonna stock a bunch of oil, but eventually I'll run out or it'll go too rancid to finally use, So I'm gonna need a new source of fats. So I got a couple more in here, fish stick size. I'm just gonna leave those for now. I'm not gonna marinate those. I'm marinating most of the fish stick size ones because there's a larger chunks of flesh. These are the little popper sized pieces. I want to marinate these larger chunks of flesh, most of them, in case if they do taste like nasty fish. The marinade will cover that, So I got a few that are going to be unmarinated. I got, looks like 4 fish sticks that'll be unmarinated. So if they are nasty, at least it's only 4 of them that are nasty. But they really shouldn't be that bad. I'm not sure what kind of carp this was. Yeah, there are pin bones in here. And those pin bones are serious. Like, they were, I was not expecting them to be as hard as they were. My knife struggled on them. And it's like, this right here is like mostly pin bones, this piece. But maybe when it gets fried, that'll get rid of some of that. If not, I'll just spit them out after they're cooked. I tried pulling them out with my fish skinning pliers. I got various things. One of them is fish skinning pliers. And they would either clip the bone, like nail clippers, or one of them I actually pulled out. But it was like 4 inches long, and it took a bunch of flesh with it. So basically, I tried pulling out, I don't know. Try pulling out maybe 10 of them, and I clipped all of them except for one, and that one took out a bunch of flesh. So pulling these little pin bones, these Y bones, now is not a realistic option. So this is the batter part of it. You kind of see that's the remainder, and these are the marinade right here. So it's like 5/8 are marinated, are going to be marinated. And then 3/8 will be just straight up in the fish fry. So I've washed up, you know, the cutting board and fillet knife and skinning scissors, skinning pliers, and my hands and the bucket. And so, you know, each one of those things I washed with soap. I still have a faint smell of carp on me, on my hands. So I got a feeling that smelling like fish is just going to be part of the end times. That's like your end times deodorant, is the smell of fish, because you can use your hardwood ashes and your raccoon fat for making soap. But, you know, it's still a hassle. And these I'm just gonna dump in. Yeah, I do not like the smell of carp. It's just the nastiest. Super slimy, nasty, all that. But it's food, you know. This right here is I don't know. I'll have to look into it to see how many calories are in a carp. I don't know what kind of carp this is actually. So I wanted to say carp had whiskers, like 2 whiskers on it, and that's how you could tell it was a carp. But this did not have whiskers. Maybe it's a Asian carp. I don't know. Silver carp. So these ones will be unmarinated. I don't know, I haven't gone over the footage yet because I need to process this fish before it starts to go bad. It's still very fresh, you know. You still got like blood running out of it, you know, like that carcass. That's about as fresh as it gets. But I'll feel a lot better once it's fried and the outer surface is, you know, decontaminated like that by the hot oil. So I haven't gone over the footage from earlier. I don't know when the camera cut out. I want to say it was probably about 1.5 to 2 hours. You know, I'd gone over Pirate Cove Island. Finally saw some fish over there, and then I went up between Rex Island and the island behind Rex Island. And over there, the island behind Rex Island, that coast, is where I got it. Yeah, that's a little piece, so I'll just leave that. Okay. I'm going to dump this water and get the breading going. So that's the stuff right there. New Orleans seasoned fish fry breading mix. Gave it some fresh wood. Get the camera set up. You never really know how good the angle is, but it looks like it's a pretty good angle. So I got it going even at nighttime. So it's just going to be, you know, 24 hours a day. It's going to be taking one picture every 5 minutes. So like if something does come through in the middle of the night and take it, I'll get that on camera. I don't think it'll set off things otherwise. I should probably... I'm going to start with these fresh ones. Give the Give the marinade some more time to go. Wow. Smoke's blowing this way now. Yeah, and, you know, this fire's been heating the oil for, I don't know, a while. While I was doing all this prep. Got started a little too soon, I think. So I figured it was already hot enough. I didn't need to test it. Yeah, I got to do up an official setup, like table and all that, and maybe some bowls for these. Oh, whoops. These fish sticks will take longer, so I'm doing those first. So the other way would be a pancake batter, and I'm sure I'll end up doing it eventually. I figure I'd do something special for the first one. Carp are a little better than catfish as far as toxins go. They have fewer toxins than catfish. According to Tennessee, you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to worry about bass. Bass would be good because they're a boneless fillet, I guess. But they have toxins, so it's not worth it. And they don't say, Tennessee doesn't say anything about carp or catfish, just bass. Be careful on, because of mercury. But according to get out of that smoke. It's just blowing right in the eyes. According to Kentucky, which also has some water on that lake, the very end of it. According to Kentucky, I should only eat carp, I think, once a week or once a month. Maybe once a week. And if I were like a pregnant lady, once a month. So Kentucky's a little leery of it, but not Tennessee. So I'm not going to be making a habit out of this, constantly getting my food from it. I just want to make sure I do have a means of feeding myself. I do want to catch more than just one fish, you know. It took me, I think, about 2 hours. Which isn't bad considering that I wasn't finding any at first because it's so choppy. And the water levels had changed so drastically. 2 foot, you know, since the last time I was there. Looks like it's going to be consistently blowing that way now. Unless it's set up over here. Big pops had stones cracking. Stones ain't good. These stones right here aren't good for heat. thunder. It was all bright and sunny earlier, and now it's thundering. That was a good one. I'm gonna shower after this. Get the lake and fish smell off me. Maybe a shower in the rain. Summer rain isn't bad for showering. Yeah, I want to do a few more fish, but I'm not gonna make a habit out of it. Unless this tastes really good. Yeah, I might just do it because it tastes so good. I do like fish and chips. But due to the possible pollution, I'm not gonna make a habit out of it. Oh, now it's coming this way. This is gonna take a while. Looks like another few minutes on for these ones, you know, and then I'll do the same thing with those, the marinated ones. I spun them around a few times to get the marinade to soak in. This marinade does go moldy after a while, so I marinated some french fries, some potatoes to make french fries, and I was gonna marinate some mushrooms the next day, but I couldn't find any good mushrooms. I didn't get around to it or something. The marinade ended up sitting in the bag for a while, and it got moldy. So, you know, it is kind of a one-time use on this marinade, especially because it's got fish in it. But, what do you call it? I got a jar of it, so I might as well use it. So after those are good, I'm going to go ahead and bread those and do the same thing. See how it looks afterwards. Looking good, looking good. Darker ones are the marinated. Little pin bone. Lighter ones are plain. Darker ones are marinated. Yeah, definitely marinated is the way to go. Can't taste, so this, I didn't season it at all. This breading is pre-seasoned. Save the marinated for later. Wow, you gotta see, this is a lot of meat right here. I'm just gonna put the marinated on that side. Unmarinated. The little poppers. I'm gonna try out. So this breading was pre-seasoned, but probably not even seasoned that much because it's from the store. You know, it's not gonna, the store's not gonna load seasoning on like I would. So when I do, a lot of pin bones in that one. When I do a pancake batter, I'm gonna load the seasoning on it. So I'm gonna end up putting it in a paper bag so it can breathe. I got that and this. This is tartar sauce. I don't know. It's like a month ago now. I'm finally using it. Scrap cardboard. So this one has a lot of pin bones. So it is a bit dry. Wow. So I figured I'd try to chew up the pin bones to get the calcium from them. But that was not a good idea. It kind of like stabbed my tongue. Maybe almost cut it. It looks like your normal fish fry. Fish. But it's drier. Kind of see any kind of those pin bones took all that flesh. So I'm thinking the poppers are probably the better way to go. But then I did make those poppers out of the belly side of the fish. I think that was most of the pin bones there. So this would be kind of like a finger food, getting the pin bones out. So I'm going to get another table. Another couple tables, because I'm going to need tables from our campgrounds. Ten by 10 pond liners, I got 2 of them. I can use for a roof, 10 by 10 roof. 50 foot, that's 3 foot tall roll of fencing, I got 3 of them. 50 foot roll. So I'll make 4 sides that are 15 by 10 by 15 by 10. So a 10 by 15 campground with like a 9 by 9. This shack is 10 by 10. And this shack is, you know, the, you know, fishing camp or hunting camp or gathering camp, you know, does not need to be this big. I was living out here. I'll just be in these camps to gather food and then head back. So the pin bones are in the top portion of the fillet, along the back. That's where most of the meat was. This piece of meat was probably from the belly portion of the fillet. In the center of the fillet was the red, like, nerve line or whatever, you know. I cut out because you don't want red flesh. Because red flesh would taste like fish. This has no flavor of fish at all. It's just a dry-ish meat. Mild salt. Maybe seasoned salt is what's in there. That looks like it's mainly cornmeal and maybe seasoned salt. Having a sauce. Definitely lubes it. So I got some mouse melons that I pickled in pickle juice. But pickle juice is like vinegar. Kind of tell it's a Y bone. This piece was juicy. It was a really big piece, thick piece. I think that was most of the Y bones. Egg and vinegar. Egg and oil. Egg yolk and oil. A little bit of vinegar. Salt. Maybe sugar. Makes a good meal. Getting eggs is the tricky part. Big Y bone. So this piece was so thick. It could be, and that first batch, the unmarinated. Some more Y bones. Yeah, it's definitely the best time to take the bones out is after, because there's no way you're gonna get these bones out before cooking it. But after cooking it, they come out pretty easy. I was wanting to get the breading crispy brown. But it really wasn't doing that. So I left those unmarinated ones in for a while. I don't know, 10 minutes. Before I was like, well, they gotta be done by now. So I gave it some more logs. And then threw these marinated ones on. So that marinade had gotten cloudy over that 10 minutes. You know, like it had sucked the moisture out of these pieces. And that moisture clouded up the marinade. So that could have something to do with it. That marinade extracting some of the moisture. But then I also only put these in the oil for probably about half the time, about 5 minutes. So it's like, this is pretty firm. This is still pretty soft. Both are fully cooked. But, you know, I was trying to get it to like a golden brown, like a dark brown, but this breading just doesn't do that, I guess. This over here, the marinated, is a lot juicier, you know. It's either from the marinade or from not cooking it. I think it was dry because I cooked it so long. Like, I'm guessing that's probably it. This right here, marinated one that I only deep fried for about 5 minutes. Basically, by the time I had everything breaded and in the oil, I started taking things out of the oil. And I did add more wood, so it was a hotter oil. But this is more like your restaurant style. That's about as juicy as a restaurant one. The other one was drier, probably because I overcooked it. Yeah, so doing like fish from the stores, you sometimes get like a fishy flavor in the fish. Maybe you'll see it's like a shiny green or something, you know, in there. They don't cut out all those different colored meats. I cut out all that different colored meat, which is along the skin and along that horizontal nerve line. I cut out all that. So I just had the white meat. And there's no fish flavor at all. This flavor is better than store-bought, you know. Store-bought where you get that fishiness. I'm not getting any fishiness out of this. I will have to get some kind of sorts of eggs so I can make mayo. Pickle up the cucumber melons. Or actual pickles, you know. Dice up some onions. Make tartar sauce that way. So you kind of see, I'm already satisfied. I had a wrap this morning. 2 lettuce leaves, 4 slices of Swiss, 6 slices of ham, mayo, pickle, onion. So a decent wrap. That was a while ago. That's the only other thing I ate. But I'm already feeling pretty full. Not full, but satisfied. So I'm probably not going to be able to finish this tonight. This will probably end up finishing this up tomorrow, eating it. You guys see one carp is like, and this is basically just eating this, you know, like my ideal meal is like 4 these little tenders, you know, fish tenders or whatever, fish sticks, you know, and then it's like half a box of mac and cheese, and then, you know, like a handful of red beans, you know, or something, you know, some beans, some carbs, and some meat, and a side salad, you know. So I got those carbs and beans stocked, you know. I got like a 2 to 4 year supply of those saved up, and then, you know, I can get the greens real easy, you know, and the meat portion of it, which is going to be like half of the meal, you know, is going to be like meat, you know. That was what I was worrying about, you know, being able to get that. But, you know, and it's kind of like, I guess now what I need to do is preserve it. Because carp is going to be probably what I catch most. I didn't try out my alternative. I tried it out once, one night, my alternative catfish method. No luck. That's just one night, so it's really hard to say. One night, one location. Catfish, 2 to 3 pounder would be a nice meal, you know. That carp is so big, it's kind of like, you know, like doing this every day, like stuffing yourself on carp, you're gonna get so sick of carp. And it's like so much pollution in there. Granted, there's not much, but if you eat this every day, a carp a day, I'm sure there's enough in there to do something. You end up being a liberal, you know. Probably what happens to these inner city people, how they become liberal, start dyeing their hair. All the heavy metals from the car exhaust. This is a lot cleaner. As dirty as this is probably a lot cleaner than any vegetables that you get out of a community garden from an inner city area. Like, those people think that they're doing good. With their community gardens. Pin bone. But they're really just poisoning themselves. Yeah, a bit last piece right here. Yeah, I would not recommend eating pin bones. At least when they're fried like this. Because these will choke you. If they don't lacerate your tongue and your mouth, I sliced my tongue on that, trying to chew it. try to swallow these, those would get stuck in your throat or in your intestines or something. Wow. Yeah, so fish bones, at least from a carp, are a no-go. Maybe from a minnow. Maybe I could get my calcium that way. Eating minnows. These are the kind of things you got planned when you got dictators ruling you. Taking out trillions and trillions and trillions like it's nothing. How are you going to get your calcium? Are you going to eat minnows? Good question. Yeah, that's it for this one though. It's a long one.